Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation bringing you guys a game between Quantic and Radical Online Extremists. This is going to be a best of one to decide third and fourth deciders. It's going to be our second to last matchup for the night here in the Season 5 Aegis Cup. We've been going through some awesome games and seen some awesome Dota from both sides, but now we're going to see Quantic going up against RoX, their counterparts here, and seeing what is in store right now in OD ban. Obviously contested hero considering the individual players and drafters involved, but yeah, in general it's going to be an exciting game with hopefully an exciting draft. So that's going to be coming up in just a few seconds here into the draft. I myself am Blaze. Here's Triumph. What's going on?
Well, I mean, maybe we've been overrating OD. I mean, this is 3 for 3 he's lost so far tonight, so just not working out. And it seems teams just going, all right, mid lane doesn't go that well, but let's just put pressure everywhere else on the map and just catch up our mid in that regard. And it just comes to, I think also the other thing, like fighting around the map early on, taking those early towers has become a big deal, because the thing is, like, a lot of his firepower in those sort of early engagements is when he's got sanities clips and he drops it down. It's a big hit, but as it is, I haven't seen a huge sanities all night that's just sort of like snap like 2 or 3 heroes all at once. It just hasn't happened. So maybe that's been the deal. The fact you can keep a lot of teams manage to stay split up, manage to avoid the big ult, has been sort of the way to deal with him. But second ban here from Quantic. The question is if we're going to see Batrider and Wisp. I think Batrider at the moment and Wisp, the two most banned heroes in the game. There we go. Wisp getting knocked out. We'll see if Bat follows suit. And whether or not, I don't think Tree will get picked up here, will get banned out here, because we've already got the OD. I mean, the big thing is, of course, the Tree. I think Tree brings is the fact he allows you to play so greedy. And having that sort of tricore setup, but mostly for the tricore setup that we see tends to be OD in mid more than anything else. So we'll see if they go with that. Although we did see Queen of Pain mid with Tree, did we not? I think it was that anyway. Next ban here from Quantic. Now our RoX.KIS, they have the first pick, so I think we'll see a Bat ban just because they won't want to allow that to slip through. And generally speaking, if Bat gets left, it tends to get first pick more than anything else. Yeah,
definitely a very constant pickup, just based on the fact that it allows for initiation potential to start fights off early, because the Russian players especially, that's just kind of their meta. It's a bloodbath. It's starting in, and the last man standing will be the one to take away and be able to clean up things, push down towers, etc., etc. But yeah, they really just want to go in and brawl it out, and the Batrider is definitely a hero to allow them to initiate and jump on into it. And of course, they get a lot of heroes with great control. So Shadow Demon is going to be the first pick of choice for RoX for some great potential to offensively and defensively disrupt heroes, taking them out of the fight. But yeah, Quantic has a very substantial draft open to them. They can pretty much play it however they want. But to start things off, we're seeing that Nature's Prophet and Vengeful Spirit could come into play now. I don't know. Visage is going to be allowing them to not only have a great solo hero in Prophet, where he has global presence and high push potential once he gets going, but also Visage should be able to secure the tri lane. Again, a hero with a lot of potential that so far hasn't had too much going for him. Most Visages this cup specifically have been sitting around, hovering around level 1 through 3 for far too long in most people's opinion. But either way, RoX bringing back some interesting heroes. The gloves are off. Shadow Demon and Mirana are on the field.
Oh boy, I mean, yeah, the gloves are off indeed. Mirana and Shadow Demon in the same lane to get this absolutely lethal. Landing those arrows with the disruption has really been key. The question is whether or not they want to have some kind of greedy line. I mean, if they wanted to, they could try and toss something in mid. That's something greedy in mid, but we'll see. We'll see where they go with that. We're going to have the Weaver banned out. I mean, if you're going to have a greedy yet active hero solo mid, Weaver is an option, I feel. He can get active. If he gets if you go with something like the early mid down or even just bugs, the negative armor is pretty damn huge. And of course, he gets really aggressive, has great rune control with his speed, can get on top of the runes fairly easily. So he can basically control the tempo of mid fairly easily. But Snake's going to get banned out along with the light. We're also going to have the Keeper of the Light also get knocked out. But Kinker being picked up by Quantic. Okay, so we've got a fair bit of push potential here, and the question is, I assume we're going to see the solo mid Tinker. I mean, jungle Tinker was sort of a thing way back last year. It was sort of an offbeat thing teams were trying down there, but I think it's pretty terrible, to be honest, and it works up until the point that somebody realizes you're doing it and then goes and beats you up. So most likely solo mid Tinker, and the question is, who are they going to throw mid against it? Tinker's pretty hard to beat in mid. The laser is pretty painful, and of course it's that several seconds of blind is quite frustrating to deal with, and of course March Machines is quite powerful as well.
But if you have to go with something, you see the damage kind of predictably, and you go with the Nyx in the mid, I actually could see that working. Now, of course, they could still be running supportive Nyx, but if they needed to transition to mid, Carapace and Mana Burn are the tools that he could use very effectively to actually make that lane work for him. But they pick up another solo-oriented hero, the Beastmaster, and with that Nature's Prophet, Tinker, Beastmaster, somebody's got to be jungling, so presumably it's going to be the Prophet in the jungle rather than Tinker on the Ancients, but wouldn't count anything out just yet. Either way, one interesting way that Quantic is drafting right now is very, very against RoX. Like the Dazzle, Keep It Light, those are hero picks that RoX has run before that synergize well with the Shadow Demon Mirana. They love to run those kind of instant nukes right after you come out of the disruption and get hit by the arrow. So they take out that synergy there. But they also pick up Tinker, which is a rather common pickup for BZZ. Now, he's probably running the Mirana, but in case he wasn't, BZZ Tinker is one thing that is kind of a little signature thing of his, and taking that on out with their selection there.
How is BZZ running Tinker?
It's really interesting. Like, he runs it as a core hero, kind of like how we see Pugno.
No, I mean, Tinker's on Quantic's side.
Yeah, I'm saying they picked it up so that BZZ didn't have that option. A lot of people just banned the Tinker against him.
I get you.
They kind of did a pseudo-ban by picking it up themselves, so it's kind of interesting.
I get you now. Okay, I'm with you now. Tinker, if Quantic want to get really, really weird, I mean, Quantic, of course, it's Go Black, could do anything. He's very unpredictable. If they wanted to, could be Beastmaster mid, Tinker takes a safe lane farm, Visage in the support, spend most of the time pulling that sort of stuff. But the problem, depends where they stick the Mirana. Like, this is an offensive try, and the question is, what are they going to put against it? Because we've seen exactly how powerful the Mirana and the Shadow Demon together are. They're absolutely lethal. And the question is, what can you throw against that? If they have March of Machines, maybe. As long as Tinker is the one who doesn't get disrupted. March of Machines, it's hard to run into. Like, especially when you've got a lot of low health heroes, like Mirana, Shadow Demon, even Nyx, trying to walk into that, because, or even if Mirana leaps into it trying to get close the gap really quickly, that's quite dangerous to end up in the middle of the March of Machines. I think that's definitely something they want to watch out for. But on the other hand, Tinker's pretty easy to snap, and if they land a hit, I mean, that's going to drop them pretty damn quickly. And the other thing is, of course, if Tinker's in there, they don't have... Because this is the thing that we've seen consistently against them, is what the... Okay, is this...
So Prophet's going to have to offlane or mid, and Tinker's going to be in a 2.5 lane.
Or is he? I mean, just looking at him, that's... Alright. Yeah, we'll see where they go with that. But anyway... It may be a 2.5 lane, but I mean, the consistent thing we've been seeing against the Mirana lanes tonight has been the fact that the lanes they've been fighting have been fairly easy to get aggressive against. You haven't had to worry about huge amounts of stuns or counter-attack coming at you in these lanes we've seen tonight, so it's been pretty easy to land one stun, kill somebody, and then walk away giggling about it. There's been no counter-aggression or counter-attack available to stop them. But with the Chen being picked up now as the final pickup, I mean, they don't, again, Quantic don't have that solid core of heroes who can fight back very effectively. Visage takes some time to get rolling. They don't have those stuns because, like, one of the fastest ways you could stop these ganks happening is, like, sure, you land an arrow, assuming it's not like a max range arrow, so it stuns in the last 2 seconds or so. You get stunned, your teammate gets stunned, you stun right back. It's a game of stuns. You stun, they stun, you slow things down. You get basically by cop the arrow to back off, or at least pop some heals, just back down a bit. In this case, though, if they are indeed doing a Beastmaster Visage or a Tinker Visage or whatever they've got in plan there, that's a fairly easy lane to punish. And whoa!
Oh, that's fun.
Wait a minute.
That's a lot of fun there.
All bets are off. I don't know.
Yep.
What are they doing
It's
here?
a great counter versus Tinker. It's perfectly fine versus a number of heroes, but it's really saying, hey, Sox, you're going to have farm priority. We have to worry about you. Doom not only silences you to screw you up with your spell cast, but most importantly, it takes off your item usage as well, where Tinker buys some great active items, Shivas, Scythe, whatever, BOTs, Blinks, Force Staffs, all this different stuff. Doom will cancel that out. And so Yol is picking up a complete counter to the Tinker. And it looks like he wants to run him on the mid lane, though the same thing looks like for Nyx Assassin. So we'll see. Maybe a 2-1-2. I can't imagine. Oh, tri-lane Doom? I don't even know. But the important thing is they have the Doom on the field, and they can play very, very aggressively with him once they get that ultimate up and running.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised. Like, the Doom pick makes like it's really good against Tinker. The question is how are they going to lane this? This is my confusion. Like, how are they going to sort this out in this sense here? It looks like Tron is actually going to safe lane with the Bear. And I think they're just deciding whether or not are they going to try and offensively jungle Doom? Because, I mean, he's practically useless. I can't imagine him trying to tri-lane with this, because he's practically useless in the tri-lane.
He could eat the creeps that Chen picks up and just fuck with Chen for a while.
I suppose, yeah.
He persuades them, the other guy noms them, so, you know. It could be pretty
I
frustrating,
mean,
I
yeah,
think.
if it's just Yol playing it, we'll see where they go with that. But I mean, JRB's been doing the solo mid for them, and he's picked the Nyx, is the question. I think they're actually just going to dual lane. BZZ and Vang score together, they're going to dual lane that. Safe lane with the Lone Druid. Nyx takes mid, because it's JRB playing it, and they're going to have Yol jungle. That's what it looks like to me, although he has actually picked up items that don't really lend themselves to jungle Doom. But he's camping money, so he could just sort of switch it up in a second. We'll see.
Yeah. So easy to rush out a Soul Ring or a bottle or whatever he feels will be most appropriate to stay active in the jungle there. But I don't think he's laying with Druid, and for that reason, Process Elimination, this is Jungle Doombringer, and once he gets going, he's going to be quite a threat. But on the other side, Funzy's going to be running the Beastmaster on the mid lane, rushing up that bottle very quickly with the standard 3-branch, 3-tango. And we are going to be seeing Sox and fucking Mad dual laning it up top, 2.5 versus 2, but a very strong 2 at that. Vonscore and BZZ taking up the Shadow Demon and the Mirana, though we are going to see a little bit of warding before they actually get going.
It's interesting, yeah, the 2v2, something we don't see all that often. They do have some decent kill potential, but the problem is, I mean, we saw the earlier the tries, they were getting kills, but it wasn't based off Mirana. It was mostly, Mirana was landing the stun, and then it was coming into the spots were landing a lot of damage, just their straight up auto attacks. They were moving a lot quicker than Mirana could get there. And the other thing is, the longer this, like, give this a couple of minutes, if they don't rack up a couple of quick, easy kills, we're going to have Chen hovering around, and that's going to be troublesome, because it's essentially going to be a 3v2, as well as, you know, factoring in neutral creeps as well, who deal a lot of damage at this stage in the game. I don't know if they're going to be able to get nearly as aggressive as they want to, especially when Tinker, I mean, once he gets his spells up and running, he's got March Machines and stuff. Like, if he gets the March Machines down, it's going to be very difficult for them to move in and punish them based off that, unless they can land the combo on him. If they land the combo on him, there's not much Visage can do to stop him, just because he's so damn squishy and Visage doesn't have anything to slow him down.
So, yeah, it's difficult. Both of them aren't very able to tank it up, but I know, of course, fucking Mad with Concoction, or with the Soul Summon could be in a much better spot. However, Vonscore gets a good right clicks off. This should be a good arrow. Oh, that's going to connect very hard. 5-second stun. Plenty of time to bring down fucking Mad for the first blood. Really, really, really well done. And fucking Mad in a questionable position so far away from the lane.
They will pick him off. I mean, yeah, that max stun definitely landing himself. Don't often get the huge max stun arrows just because it's really hard to get the positioning there in that amount of time. But as it was, things worked out for them. They were just in the right spot. Mirana happened to be close to CSing at that point in time. And of course, Soksha wasn't there close enough to help punish them either. But now he's got Soul Assumption. I mean, they will need to be careful. Rocket Spam and Soul Assumption is very, very scary for them. Lots of good long-range firepower they can dish out. And I don't think we'll be seeing that happen too much, provided that they're on point with that.
Yep.
Chen as well. I mean, the question is what Chen does. In fact, Chen's actually rotated. He's going bottom lane, but looks like he's picked up a double damage, and Tron now is in a bad position. He's being circled. They're circling around him. Although that's just Silence taking a lot of damage as well, but Tron's realized, okay, I've got to actually back up here. He's trying to sneak away. Going to pop the health potion. Going to try and buy some time. Actually, auto attacks it. Trying to get the kill in. Not going to happen, though, and it looks like Chen with the DD should be able to clean this up. One more hit. There we go. Test of Faith as well, and they get the kill, but they almost lose Nature's Prophet as well.
Yeah. Close call there, but good on them for having Godblack in that position, trying to screw with Doom just a little bit because he actually drops himself very, very low when he's jungling, and along with that, finding an opportunity to very aggressively bring down the Lone Druid. Actually, extremely important kill there to bring him down because, of course, you can put his bear on cooldown and nullify his lane presence entirely if they put up the pressure. Either way, though, Silent's able to come right back onto the lane with plenty of HP and mana, and he has his boots already available, so good start for him is going to be a good start for just about everybody as time goes by. For right now, though, Nyx Assassin doing work in the mid lane. 17, 18 CS going up against the Beastmaster's 16 there. Of course, he is going to pick up his ultimate nevertheless, but right now it seems like, for the most part, Nyx has been controlling the lane pretty effectively.
I'm just going to wait to see whether or not Yol is actually going to try and bottle courier this bottle back and forth. He is actually using it to help him jungle. I was about to say, it might be somewhat efficient, like, obviously you've got the nerf to the bottle crowing, but it might be somewhat efficient still if you're running 2 bottles at the same... Oh, actually, no, it's not.
Stacks.
Actually, no, there's huge... No, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Huge slow on that. Never mind, I'm lying.
Oh, race for the top rune. It should be JRB's, though. Gets the Impale off. He will pick up the haste here, and that means Funzy's in a bad spot, actually, if JRB went to pursue, but it looks like it just is a little bit too tanky for JRB to be comfortable diving under the tower for him.
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all. He's just going to back all the way up. Funzy though, definitely struggling, just because I feel the mana burn is a big deal against him. The fact that he's not, he's losing all that mana, can't wild access spam, And of course, like what Axis have, like they've got a pretty obvious wind-up time. It's pretty easy for JRB to just like basically throw a carapace in his face. Meanwhile, the bottom lane yet again, Doom now in some serious trouble, gets trapped in by the Sprout. They pick up a kill. The Roots come down though. Now Silent in some serious trouble here. Can they get the attack off? Yes, they will. They get a counter kill at least, as well as a Chen also being dropped. Doom, though, helping facilitate a gank down there. But now looks like Vanscore in some trouble top lane. Going to walk head first up the hill. Getting caught out here. Grave Chill as well. And those auto attacks, Soul Assumption as well to finish the job.
Yeah.
Mirana too slow to get there in time to help out.
Not a place to be. Their observer wards do not give them any vision about where Funky Mad was positioned alongside Sox, so by going a second point in Rocket there, they're guaranteeing quite a bit of burst, and that's not something Vanscore could deal with. Even if he disrupted, he'd just be delaying the inevitable. So, not a good position. Kind of a positioning error to actually go up on the high ground. Meanwhile, JRB popping off that haster and has his Vendetta available. Might look to try to pick somebody off if they're off the tower, but for right now they are turtling it up, and he's heading back towards mid. Either way, that movement down on bottom, the Doombringer did have the snare, or whatever the net is for the Dark Troll Warlord, or Dark Troll Summoner, so he was able to actually facilitate that gank, as you mentioned, but it did cost them a whole lot of mana. Actually, Vanscore taking a huge amount of damage. Wrath of Nature finished him off, but it might be enough to finish off Sox. With that Starfall, they do at least get one pick, and he can leap on away to get on out of there. Now that Fucking Mad has no more mana. Here comes that Nature's Prophet, though, trying to block him off, trying to pincer him in, and it looks like they're successful. They get that kill, nevertheless.
And meanwhile in mid, in fact, they took a run on Funzy. They tried to pick up Funzy. Unfortunately, it looked like JRB actually got roared under the tower and took a ton of damage. Almost died. Doom, on the other hand, managed to come in just in time to save his life. Doesn't have Doom yet. If he had Doom, would have been an easy kill. However, hasn't picked that up yet, and didn't have a good creep either. Has the shockwave from the Sato, so not a fantastic ability for him to set up that fight. Now we've got Funzy rotating bottom, but however, Raw on cooldown here. I don't think they'll get Tron. No. Unless Chen can get in a really, really good disable here. Yeah. Which, in fact, it's not going to happen. He's got a Satyr. That's not going to happen.
No. So, they can frustrate him a lot, but they don't even have the boar available, so there's really no way to lock him down. But yeah, top is going to be finished off. They do get the disruption, Soul Catcher, followed up with the Arrow Star Call, and that is going to be setting them up very, very nicely. But JRB, unfortunately, TPs for absolutely no reason. So he gets his Arcane Boots from the side, but could have easily just walked to rotate in the Secret Shop. Either way, though, yeah,
bottom line.
The action just continues. I mean, they're going to be able to dive him aggressively, and although they will be staying for quite some time, they should be able to bring him down just with the raw right-click potential now that they finally do have that boar. But here comes the Moonlight Shadow. Fortunately, Funzy does pop off that roar and is enough to bring him down. So, yeah, now they can push down on the tower. They have the HP regeneration from the Satyr. They have the Basilius active from Silence, so this should be easy pickings. And they even have Inner Beast, for that matter. So a lot of push potential from these three heroes.
Okay, if RoX.KIS could be doing something here that would help them out a lot, it's rotating the supports. Right now, their supports are not rotating all that well. I mean, here's the weird thing. They just threw Tron under the bus there. They could have TP'd to save him. We have heroes here. Like, this is TP. Like, even if they're not carrying one, it's right there. They had plenty of time to run in there and TP. Like, Mirana had mana too. She could have jumped in and helped them out, definitely. Jump in there with a Starstorm. That's going to deal a ton of damage. Chen was only sitting on 200 health. She could have just poured it in and just wiped him. But as it is, like, nobody responded and just basically left poor old Tron there to stop, basically run behind the tower and then lose all of his 1,000 health. Yeah. So I think that was a questionable choice. Meanwhile, though, Sox are going to get a revenge kill up there on Vanscore.
It was a weird little situation. The Shadow Demon Mirana were running about trying to find an opening on Sox, but the Mirana was already on such low life that she actually almost died to the Nature's Prophet jumping on, and she leaped down the cliff perfectly, BZZ surviving like 14 HP. It was very, very close, but the fact of the matter is, if they're losing that momentum on Tinker, he's going to be able to move into those BOTs very quickly. He has been sitting on the Soul Ring for a while, and on top of that, now he kind of has a free lane until Mirana actually makes her way there.
Yeah, let's just send Mirana back up there. We'll see where she goes with this build. Has opened up with Phase Boots. We've seen previously on Tonight Treads into Drums. I think she's still getting Drums. She's picked up a Brace, and I feel like it's a very core item on her. She can't really afford to go without it just because she's so easy to burst down otherwise on such low health. So we'll probably see her pick that up yet again. Now we're going to have fucking Mad head up there as well. He's picked up the Medallion. It gives him a lot of extra burst damage. Also, if they want to go and take Roshan, they can handle that very easily. They've got the Chen creep, and they will have the negative armor as well.
Yeah, all that push that I was talking about on bottom lane really just applies just as easily to that, to Roshan and trying to bring him down quickly. Now, one thing I'm not so sure about is Yol's pickup of the Satyr. He consumed that and has been kind of running around with that for quite some time. Essentially, he's getting HP regeneration and a nuke that costs 100. The Arcane Boots can sustain the nuke, but as far as the HP regeneration, I don't feel that's that effective when you consider armor and, yeah, having no stout shield. So, not that effective of HP, but I guess it's worked out for him thus far. Just it hasn't really found the opening he's looking for. Now Sentry comes down, but not fast enough as the Doom comes across, and the Starfall doing a lot of damage to Silent. It will cost Mirana her life, though. She does get nuked down pretty hardcore by the Visage, and now they're in pursuit. They're going to go and try to bring down JRB. He's already used Vendetta and the Moonlight Shadow, so really no way of getting out of this one, and he does drop down to the Visage once more.
Yeah, just spamming out that Soul Assumption, the 4-second cooldown, proving dividend, basically providing dividends there. We'll pick up those easy kills. Also, March Machine spam on mid as well. Chen just going to heal up with the ult. And looks like Tron, a little bit worried about getting jumped here, is sort of hiding in the trees. I mean, if he does get jumped though, the problem is he doesn't have a TP, so if he sees trouble coming, there's not much he can do except sit there and die. So I question his choices to sit here at the moment like that. However, I think he's thinking, alright, well, I've got time. At the very least, they're pushing mid, but with nobody defending the mid-tier 1, they will lose that fairly rapidly, and it looks like RoX.KIS, if they were hoping to snowball out of control fairly early on, it's not going to happen. However, I'm going to argue that, given the heroes, the fact that they've got a Doom to help shut down the Tinker, I feel like RoX.KIS have the better late game here, so they can afford to sort of bide their time. But if Tinker, like you said, gets all these early items, I mean, even something like a... Oh my god, I've seen things like Blink Dagger, Dagon, and Ethereal Blade, like that kind of stuff can be so obnoxious to play against. I don't know if they'll have a chance to use it here just because of Doom, but
yeah.
I get the feeling like we're just going to see chain hexes and the like. If they can get that on top of Doom, it's going to be so tough for them to keep themselves in the fight.
Yeah, that's one of two options. You can either just hex Doom so many times he can never get the Doom off, or you can go Blink Lincolns, and it's unlikely that he'll both get the Lincolns pop off and do damage to you to put your Blink on cooldown. So that's pretty much the two ways to deal with that. Not sure if it'll actually play itself out that way, but right now, yeah, Quantic has pretty much all the time in the world to farm it up. They have been pushing out with Tinker multiple times over with the March, and he's going to have his BOT shortly, especially with this Roche about to fall from all the pressure they've been putting on now.
And there we go, Roshan getting it picked up there, Quantic, and this is something that's been happening time and time again tonight. The early Roshans have really been paying off. As we see, Disruption, Arrow, as there we go, easy kill here on Quantic. Soksha getting dropped rapidly there. But they don't have a position. Like, they get the nice pick off there, it's good, but they don't have a position to capitalize and push up as the wave is all the way up against their tower. And Nature's Wrath just continues to keep these lanes pushed out. In fact, it looks like Tron is now in some trouble as they're sending Visage down here to help gank him, and with the low speed of his Druid and Bear form as well, it's going to be fairly easy to land these stuns. As this is what they're relying on, the Mirana's Moonlight Shadow. I like it's a technical skill, but I feel like they could be using it more aggressively. Rather than just, you know, a free... rather than a get-out-of-jail free card for Lone Druid every 140 seconds. I don't like this so much. It looks like they're going to get stuck in, though. The Bear's going to come in there to just... Oh, the Soul Catcher.
BOTs, Tinker's coming on in, but they kill the creep instead, so they're just going to get this arrow off on Silent and force out the Aegis immediately. Funzy gets ultied, so now he's doomed. He cannot cast any spells. Has lots of right-click with double damage, but doesn't seem to want to use them. Going on the run here. They turn it around, though, with the BOTs finally coming on in, trying to lock down BZZ. The Soul Assumption not going to get range, though, and they're going to turn it around on Funzy very, very nicely. So, yeah, now RoX.KIS feel comfortable about this position. Buyback, though, comes on across, and actually Vonskor gets chopped down just by the Nature's Prophet. He's actually pretty mobile, considering he has been forced back a little bit here. Either way, he came back up kicking, and the Aegis brought him back up to fight. Now we do actually... there was another pick off here. What the hell was Nyx doing? Do they have a gem or something?
Yeah. Nyx wasn't expecting to get caught out by the Beastmaster. Beastmaster brought back, TP'd immediately back to the fight and dropped Aurora on him. So it wasn't much he could do about that. I don't know if they've got a gem.
They do have a gem. Was he vendetted when he got roared?
Oh, wow. No, he wasn't vendetted. He just wasn't expecting to get caught out by the Roar.
Sure.
But yeah, Visage does have a gem there. But I mean, if Beastmaster hadn't brought back and TP'd immediately to the fight, he would have been fine. He would have gotten away from that.
Sure.
But there we go. I mean, this pays off. Like, that buyback, definitely a good buyback. Pays off, kills up a Nyx, and it's probably going to get them a tier 2 as well, as we see Tinker now moving and going to spam March Machines to hold them off. And RoX.KIS steadily losing ground here. Really running out of space to farm.
And now they're taking huge advantage of the Beastmaster's bird. It's just giving them so much scout potential, where we saw Silent was actually able to just get hard right-clicks on a very low HP Doom because the bird keeps scouting it out. And also, they can BOT to it, and you don't see the animation of the BOT until you've actually arrived. So that gives another potential of mobility for Sox to kind of dive bomb in and get behind enemy lines with or without a Blink Dagger.
See if they can make that work. Beastmaster, though, has picked up an early point boost. We'll see if he converts that straight away into an early Argonym's, or if he gets a smaller item first and then gets a later. In fact, no, he's picked up the Ogre Club. Looks like he's going straight Argonym's Rush. And this definitely, it gives him some good stats. On top of that, it just the flat out initiation range on the Raw is just so much stronger. In fact, I'm pretty sure he outranges Doom with it afterwards, and that's going to be a pretty big core issue. Being able to drop the Raw before he has to wade in and get doomed is going to be a very big deal. Because as we saw last fight, during the last fight, he got dropped because of the Doom, didn't get any spells off. In fact, reinitiated because he felt confident that he could get back in there because Chen popped Hand of God. However, unfortunately, Nyx rocked up right next to him and stunned him down. They managed to burst him down in that amount of time. But Chen is playing very aggressive. For an 800 health support hero, is being super aggressive here, like dangerously aggressive. However, it looks like they've got complete control as, again, Shadow Demon gets caught out and burst down.
Yeah. Shadow Amulet, Doom, but he gets caught out by the Geometry Sight, gonna get stunned up by the Familiars, trapped inside trees. There's really nothing he can do but go on the run with his heal. He's gonna Scorched Earth away, but it might not be enough here, and definitely Shadow Amulet's not gonna be sufficient as he does get dropped down. So that's 2 quick, easy pickoffs, and that's just due to a vision advantage through Geometry Sight, through the Familiars, through the Hawk, all these things allowing them to find these pickoffs, and really, RoX.KIS not giving them as much respect as they should in that regard. So now the Tier 2 should drop down, but they will be trading it for their Tier 1 up top, unless there's a good TP coming in. Sox gonna try to bring him down, but there's nothing to stop the teleportation of the Lone Druid himself.
I want to point out as well that not just the birds not only just changed them, but the fact he also placed them, fucking man placed him in a way that actually blocked off pathing for Doom. He got stuck. He got stuck, trapped in fact had to backtrack his way through the trees and get just shot at the entire way instead of ducking through and just running off there. So really, really good play there from Visage. So it looks like Chen's going to continue knocking down Creep. Are they going to? I think they're going to push in on top of on the top lane now, just take down this Tier 1 and Tier 2. They've got the firepower to do it as well. And right now, Mirana, I mean, she's got some damage. In fact, she's not going the full. She's not, in fact, going for the full drums. Just picked up a bracer and is going to leave it there for now. Is trying to go for the fast Yasha to try and get some extra damage on the field there. BCC, though, it's so much damage from those rockets. He just has such a small health pool. It's very easy to knock him down like that.
And down by the Tier 2, Vonskor gets completely incinerated. Rockets, axes, everything in the book to try to bring him down. Yol trapped inside trees once more. No way to get on out of it. And that's yet another kill for Visage. Stacking up 5, 1, and 4. He's doing amazingly. And of course, on top of that, Nature's Prophet with 8, 3, and 4. They're taking towers, they're taking hero kills, and RoX.KIS really just can't rally together to actually get a real good team fight. JRB gets a couple good stuns, but if we're comparing that to the damage output coming in from everybody from Quantic, there's just no answer.
Yeah, Quantic is right now just playing way more heroes. You'll see Lone Druid say, alright, screw it. Buys up a Maelstrom, just trying. This will help him farm a bit, but at the same time also helps him just fight. Just flat out fight. The bear needs some attack speed, gives him some much needed damage as well, with the Lightning's procs on top of that. But now Tinker's got 2.2k now. He's probably, I assume he's going to work his way to, oh no, goes straight for a Blink Dagger there. Isn't going to rush the Hex. Does he want Blink Dagger? Want the mobility? See Mirana drop a point blank arrow there on top of Funzy. Here comes the Grave Chill though. Will we see a Soul Assumption get shot at in a second? The heal comes out from Chen. It is too late though. Leaps forward straight into a Soul Assumption. Unfortunately being chased forward by Silent was not what he wanted in the end there. They had vision of him. The Hawk also here in the mix now. It looks like Silent's going to have to back off. I don't think he's going to die, though. It is only a level 1 Doom, and the stun misses. And there we go, another Soul Assumption. Down goes Doom. The damage being shot out here by Visage. Nobody's focusing him down. Just being allowed to rack up Soul Assumption after Soul Assumption is incredibly painful. As we're going to see, is that Tinker porting? I think the Tinker port was cancelled in. The Creep that was trying to port in. Yeah, here he comes, coming back in. The Creep was trying to port in on died, and then he will finish Vanscore very easily. Disrupts himself, but he is going to die very quickly. So we're going to drop Marching Machines as well.
Yeah, just pickoffs over and over and over. They're all across the map. It's just ridiculous. The Shadow Blade picks, the Blink picks, the BOT picks, they just jump in, and for some reason, RoX.KIS cannot escape from these circumstances. They have heroes that are relatively mobile with abilities like Rabid and Scorched Earth and Leap, but generally speaking, they keep on committing themselves into something they can't handle. Now we do see another TP up on the top. It's going to be enough for Tron, who was roared up, to now get locked down inside the Sprout by the... Oh, actually has to watch himself. Soul Ringing a little bit too much. Sox drops himself pretty low, but gets enough March to bring down the Druid, and that's the important thing there. Yeah, but beyond that, it's just so much damage coming out from Quantic. They get the initiation, and they're not stopping. Like, they always have creeps to BOT to, and Sox is just all over the place with this Tinker. I remember Sox Tinker from a very long time ago in MTW, and it was pretty much along these lines how they played it out. It's just really, really solid. But it looks like they actually might finally get a return kill on Silent. Yes, but at what cost? Vonskor is going to drop down, and JRB shortly after with him. This is just very, very painful for them.
Well, here's the thing. They're not, like... RoX.KIS are not fighting together. They can't. They're split up. They're trying to find farm. And Quantic, with the amount of map control they have the Hawk to scout. They have all of the, like, their wards are everywhere. They have a gem, so they're counter-warding constantly. They have complete map control. They dictate every fight. They move in with more heroes, and, like, it's just it. If they see 2 heroes, they bring 4. Silent ports in, Tinker ports in, and suddenly they have a huge advantage numbers-wise. They just get these pickoffs non-stop. We haven't had a straight 5v5 in a very... I don't think we've had a straight 5v5 the entire game, especially since we've got Lone Druid, who's just so ineffective at this point in time. They're not pushing, so he's doing absolutely nothing. He's just trying to farm anything to remain relevant in this game. And there we go, tier 3 is down. This RoX is just getting obliterated. There's nothing they can do to stop this. Moran defensively disrupted to try and stop the Soul Assumption. But meanwhile they're doing that, Glyph gets popped in a last-ditch attempt to hold this off. Raw goes down. I think that's an Argams. Yes, it is. Doom comes out after, though. Way too late. Arrow comes in, going to hit Soksha, but it's not going to be enough at all. And this RoX, it's going down. There's just nothing they can do. Doom's already dead. Morana's dead. RoX is down. And this is just the pace of the game. They cannot win these fights just because of the... They just don't have the heroes to fight with. Quantic are playing a 5-man game. RoX.KIS only have 4.
Yeah. Very, very difficult for them. I mean, they don't have farm on any of the heroes they need farm on, and in general, they're... The one big thing is picking up a Doombringer. He isn't that high presence unless he gets a lot of farm. So essentially what he's trying to do is take himself and one opponent out of the fight, and you just take the highest priority target, like the Beastmaster, like the Tinker, but you do that, and then you still have, like you said, only 4 other heroes to work with, and the Lone Druid has no right-click to back it up, so really... You got it. Somebody setting up with entangles, some cool disruption arrow plays, but with all the disables in the world, you just don't have the damage, and you certainly don't have the survivability to hold up against what Quantic is bringing, which is a very, very impressive display of potential with the Nature's Call, Chen creeps, Beastmaster's summons, and even the familiars. You can BOT to everything that Quantic picked up, and they're just like, hey, Sox, have the entire map. Go wherever the hell you want. We got your back. And it's worked out so darn well as we see the end result. Tinker, not necessarily great on kills, only 3, but 15 assists out of the 26. He's been everywhere in this. It's just ridiculous.